Hello all, welcome to Azure Data Factory session. Today let us see the basic concept of Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory is a cloud-based ETL service, serverless data integration and data transformation provided by Microsoft with code-free user interface. Here we need to understand more about what is ETL. ETL means extract, transform and load, meaning extracting the data from the source system and doing some aggregation and filtration and data cleansing, that is called a transformation, and then ingesting the data into the target environment called loading. In some situation we will use extract the data and load the data, and then we will do the transformation, that is called ELT. The key components are in ADF are pipeline. Pipeline is a logical group of activity to perform a certain task. So for example, I wanted to load the data from source system to target system, but before loading it I have to do some filtration, I have to do some other activity, some business calculation, I have to create a new measure calculation. These kind of activities, that is called pipeline. And activity is a single piece of task in a pipeline called activity. In our example, as I said earlier, right, copying the data, it's an activity. Filtering the data, it's an activity. Setting variable, that is an activity. Next, data set. Data set is a structure of input and output data source. To work on ETL process, we should have the input and output, right? That we call it as a source and target. What is the structure of my source data? What is my expected structure of the target data? That we are defining in the data set. Next one, linked services. To extract the data or to load the data into target, we need a connection. We need to establish a connection to the source and the target environments. Say for example, I am going to read a data from the Azure Blob Storage. In this scenario, I have to establish a connection which Azure Blob Storage I am going to read it. That is called linked services. Next, data flow. Mapping data flow or visually designed data transformation in Azure Data Factory. Data flows allow data engineer to develop data transformation logic without writing code. We will have the graphical interface. There we can drag and drop and just configuring your setup there to ingest the data called data flows. Next one, integration runtime. We have our pipeline ready to load the data from source to target. How we can execute it? To execute, we need some compute service. Without compute service, we cannot execute anything, right? In that scenario, we will use the integration runtime. We have different types of integration runtime. We will see what are the different types of integration service in upcoming sessions. Next, what are all the different types of activities available in Azure Data Factory? In the macro level, I grouped into data movement activity, data transform activity, control flow activity. Data movement activities are transferring data from one location to another location, and transform activities are used to cleansing the data, applying business logic, aggregating. For those purpose we are using these activities in Azure Data Factory. Next one is control flow activity. The control flow activity used to decide whether we are going to load or not, whether my condition is success or failure, whether the data is valid or not. For this kind of situation, we need to take some decision. Based on that, my pipeline flow will go. That is called control flow activity. With this, let me conclude the session. We will meet in a practical session how to create a pipeline. Thank you.